for my 2025 wrap up and look ahead at what I hope to accomplish in 2026, as well as a WIP parade. So hopefully you will enjoy what you see. If you're new here, I appreciate you stopping by and checking out my channel. If you're a returning friend, it's good to see you again. I hope that your new year is off to a great start. Today I will be talking about cross stitch, a little bit of knitting, some paper crafting, and hopefully I will remember to throw in some book stuff at the very end. But I've been up to a lot as always, so let's get started with cross stitch. I have one progress update to show you today, because all I worked on for the month of December was Sunlight Sonata. This is a Tilton Crafts pattern. Oops, I'm sorry, hit that tripod. I will put the picture where it was the last time you saw it, which should have been my last video. I had just started it, so there wasn't a whole lot done. In fact, let's look at I had put in 474 stitches probably when you saw it last time. I am happy to say that I did put in 3,118 stitches in the month of December. So I am pleased with that progress. And what do we have going on here? This will be coming off the sidebars here and put away for the next few months. But I was able to get most of that curtain up top done and started over into the window. It looks really nice in the camera, and if I stand back the requisite 3 feet, it looks nice, but when I'm up close, I have to say that some of my stitches don't look that good, and I'm not sure why. I feel like sometimes they don't look as tight as when I put them in. Like, I'll go back to a section and they're like popping out, and I don't know why. Also, there are a couple places where the thread almost looks fuzzy, and I don't know what's causing that either. But anyway, overall, I think it is looking nice. This will come back out in May. So if you've been with me for a while, you may have heard me say that my rotation, so to speak, was to work on my large pieces on the weekends and my smaller pieces during the week. And my weekend, I usually consider Friday, Saturday, Sunday my weekend. I work 4 10-hour days, so I have 3-day weekends, and I usually consider Friday part of my weekend. The reason I started that whole rotation of the large pieces on the weekend versus and the smaller pieces on the weekdays was because the first stand that I bought to hold my cross stitch while I was working on it was a beautiful handmade stand. Great craftsmanship. It was made out of oak. It really was a beautiful stand. And I think I can find a picture of it here and I will post it. But it was the kind where it has the post that comes down and then like a bar. And so you put the bar under your thighs to hold it steady while you're stitching. And what I found was once I got myself situated in my chair, I didn't want to get up because it kind of took a bit to get situated. And on weeknights, when I had kids needing things or help with things, it just didn't work very well. Whereas on the weekends, when I usually had a couple hours at a time where I could sit and not be bothered, it was fine. So that was how I came up with the idea of working on my big pieces on the weekends and my smaller pieces on the weekdays. That's not really necessary anymore, but also I don't have that stand anymore. I sold it. I have a Lowry now, which works much better because you can just swing it out of the way and get out of your chair. But regardless, I don't have kids at home asking me for help with things. So I'm going to try something different moving forward into 2026. I am going to change my projects weekly. And the rotation is going to go like this. I did join the 2026 Hade sale, which I did start yesterday, but I'm not going to show you because we're pretending that I filmed this before that. The first full week of the month will be working on Stone Cottage Keep, which is the piece I chose for the sale. And I've actually put it in my planner. So the first full week, because I started it on New Year's Day, it is going to get a few extra days. The second and third weeks of the month are going to be my WIP Go calls for the month. And the fourth week of the month is going to be my other full coverage piece, which will rotate. Sunlight Sonata is going to go away for 4 months. So first up in that rotation will be Mini Village Bookstore, and then Mini the Library, and then Sunlight Sonata will come back out. So I'm thinking that this should work quite nicely. I will just change my piece on Sunday night so that it's ready to go on Monday. So what's going to happen here, like this is March, and you can see that March does have a day that goes into the next week. I'm not going to start my full week on Stone Cottage Keep that week. I am going to, because that's not the first full week in April. The first full week in April starts on the 6th. So when I have those extra weeks in there, I will use those to play catch up if I need to, or maybe just get some extra stitches in on my full coverage pieces. I am going to basically do a WIP parade here in a minute. Although I just realized that I didn't get out a couple of my pieces. So I'm going to pause, I'm going to grab those, and I'll be right back. So my full coverage pieces, again, you've seen Sunlight Sonata. The next one that will be coming out is Mini Village Bookstore. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs. I believe it's a Randall Spangler. This is where this piece is right now. I really do love this piece, and I would like to get it finished. In fact, my idea is that hopefully I can put enough stitches into it this year that then next year, 2027, I would like to be able to possibly finish it. I am not 100% sure when I started this piece. I actually started this piece, this is a restart. The first time I purchased Village Bookstore, That was before I understood that Haid had different sizes. I did start it on 22 count, maybe. Did a page of it, did not like it. So then I decided to repurchase the mini and restart it. I believe I started the first time in either 2016 or 2017. I know for a fact that I started it at cross country camp. My husband and I, our oldest son was a runner, and throughout his entire high school career, we went to cross country camp with his team. The coach they had at the time, he literally, for cross country camp, they went camping. And so we went along as the food truck. Basically, we went and we prepared meals and we got snacks around and we just kind of did whatever they needed done. And I do remember starting that one at cross country camp. This past year, sorry, I was going to be so organized about this, and I'm just not. Some people are so polished and have it under control, and I try, but I just don't. So last year, I will tell you how many stitches I put into Mini Village Bookstore. I put in 3,006 stitches last year. So not terrible, but not great. It is currently at, let's look and see. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Get to the right page, sorry. We'll talk more about the spreadsheet deal in a minute, but one big lesson I learned from this year was I need my projects in alphabetical order. That one is at about 56%. So if I could, like I said, if I could get it to the point where I could finish it in 2027, I would be really happy. The next piece, the next of my full coverage pieces is Mini, the Library, which is also a Haid, and it is by Augusta Toulamouche, I believe is the artist. And Mini, the Library. Like seriously, my brain just has a hard time with the fact that these are not in alphabetical order. And if there's a way to sort this spreadsheet without screwing everything up, I was not able to figure it out. Okay, Mini the Library is at 24%. It looks like I put in about 7,562 stitches on this one this year. So some good progress. And again, this one will come back out in March. I will work on Mini Village Bookstore for January and February, and I will work on this one for March and April. Then I will go back to Sunlight Sonata, and then we'll start all over again. So this is where this one stands right now. I do really enjoy working on this piece. Yep. Mini the Library. Okay, so now you've seen 3 of my WIPs. Let's talk some numbers. While I struggle to get this rolled back up. I have updated my spreadsheet for 2026. I know other people have mentioned this spreadsheet. I will also mention it, but it is a spreadsheet that you can purchase from Rainbow Sheets Studio on Etsy. It's a very nice spreadsheet. It has a lot, a lot of information. When you put your projects in, it's all tied together, so you get a lot of numbers and stats, and it's just very well done. The only thing that I thought it was missing that I have added is I have added another tab down at the bottom. Another sheet is probably the technical term, and I'm calling that my master list of projects. I am listing project name, project, the designer's name, the fabric I did it on, the total number of stitches if known, the size. I do have a status column similar to what's on the other one, where you can choose not started, in progress, or finished. And then I have a date finished column, and I am literally putting everything in here. Everything I've ever done, everything I own that's not even planned yet is in here, and I figure I can just keep copying this sheet from year to year to year, and then ultimately have basically a digest of all the things I've ever done. Now, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things not on this list because I didn't start keeping track of this kind of stuff until recently, and there will be a lot of things on here that I don't know the finish date because I did them so long ago. But I would just really like to have this ongoing list of all the things that I've done. And this one, because it's very simple and there's no what are those things called? There are no things in any of the cells that are connected to anything else or that are actually calculating anything, so I can resort this by name without screwing anything up. So that is the only thing I have added to the spreadsheet. Otherwise, I think it's a very well done spreadsheet. So I created my new one for 2026, and I copied that over, and we're going to work off that now. So I have a total of 18 items on my spreadsheet. Of those 18, these are the 18 items that are on my spreadsheet are either items that are started or things that I know I'm going to start this year. So of those 18, well, I should also say that I have no other projects started other than what's on this spreadsheet, except for one thing. I have one UFO that's been UFO'd for a long time. A long time. I should find it and pull it out. I want to finish it because it's a very pretty picture and I wanted to give it to my mother. But there's a mistake in it. And I started this project long before I found Flosstube. It's a full coverage piece. It's probably like maybe 8 by 10, maybe 11 by 14. But it's full coverage. But I didn't even, because I hadn't found Flosstube yet, I didn't even know that's what that was called. I just knew it had a lot of stitches. It's a Thomas Kincaid picture, and it's very pretty. But I screwed up somewhere, and so it got put in the naughty pile, and it's never come back out. Maybe someday I'll get up the time and energy to figure out what's wrong with it so I can finish it. We shall see. Okay, back to my spreadsheet. Of the 18 items that are on this spreadsheet, 8 of them are active. You've seen 3 of them. And like I said, I did start the sale yesterday, but I'm not going to show that today. I'll show that next month. So the remaining 10 are things that will be started, and I'm hoping that most of them will be finished. It is my intention that 9 of the 10 starts, 9 of those 10 starts will be starts and finishes throughout this year. The only thing I don't anticipate finishing is the Stone Cottage Keep because it is a full coverage. I am also hoping to finish 3, if not 4, of the items that are currently already started. So I actually am kind of hoping that I end 2026 with fewer WIPs than what I currently have. So I'm not going to show you the pieces that I'm going to start. They will get shown to you as I start them, as they get called and as I start them. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. That one's not in there. Hold, please. I forgot that one wasn't in the bag. It's over here. So this one is... Now, one of the other things I did while I was organizing the other day is I used my label maker and I put a label for each one of my pieces on the bag, so it will be easier for me to find it when it's on the shelf and I don't have to keep looking through all the bags. This is called Glory of Autumn. This is a dimensions piece. I absolutely love this picture. I don't really like stitching it. Again, I saw this one being done probably by Jessie Marie, and she did something that now in hindsight I wish I had done, and that is she changed up the fabric, but I did not. This one, it says the design is by Rudy Reichart. It is just a regular dimensions pattern. I will try to find a picture of where it was before, but if I don't, I'm sorry. Here is where we stand right now. It is my hope that this will get finished this year, 2026. It is on my WIP Go board more than once. I really just want it done. I want it done because I love it and I want it hanging on the wall, but also because I don't, like I said, I don't really enjoy stitching on it. Dimensions, Glory of Autumn. Next up we have Ornament Snow Globe. This is a Shannon Christine Designs. Very pretty. This one, if you've been with me a while and you saw when I first started this one, you will remember that I said I made a mistake. I chose to do it on a white opalescent fabric. That was not a good choice because all of those snowflakes and the snow, I'm going to have to do something different to make them show up on the white fabric. But that is where I stand right now. And I don't know why I just said I would put up a picture of Glory of Autumn, because this is a WIP parade. I'm showing you where it is now. I'm not going to do that. This one has a lot of beads, which I did not realize when I started it also, so I have to buy the beads yet. Oh, hold please. Like I said, tried to be organized, but I wasn't. The next WIP on my list is Pandemic. This is the only WIP that it actually is not on my WIP Go board or in any of my plans. I do hope to pull it out. I just have not planned. This may be one of those things that if I have extra time or it's up, or maybe like when we're camping. It's a great camping trip piece. Here's where it stands right now. You can see there's the starting. I don't think I'm anywhere near close to the other edge though. like I said, this is the only piece, this is my only WIP that I do not have actively planned anywhere, but it will get pulled out if I need filler somewhere, or like I said, it's great for when we're camping because it only has one color of thread. It is on my tablet in Pattern Keeper, so you know, it's very easy to read the pattern and whatnot. And the last two WIPs that I have already started, in progress, that I will continue working on this year. That's not going to do me any good. The first one is called, I don't know, I call it Wow Number 2. It's something of the Alliance. It's like a crest. I have two of these WoW related patterns. WoW stands for World of Warcraft. I have already done the first one. This is the second one. I am making this for my husband, and then I will start again and make a second set for my youngest son, who also plays the game and would like a set. This is also a great piece to work on while I'm camping. This one is on my WIP Go board. And my last WIP to show you in my WIP parade is, this is the day, Plum Street Samplers. I would also like to finish this one this year. I actually tried again to put this in Pattern Keeper and was successful this time, and I went through the other day and marked off all the stitches that are finished. So this one should actually get a little easier to work on now that it's in Pattern Keeper. I feel like this fabric's going to be very see-through. So there is where we stand right now. So that is my WIP parade. That is all of the projects that I have started. And again, I do have 10 projects that I am going to start this year. I have already started the Sal. I'm going to start Sweater Weather, which is another one of the weenies patterns for my sister-in-law. Excuse me. I am going to hopefully start and finish both Stitchography and Quiltography, which are fat quarter shot patterns. Official Snow Guide, which is a Lizzie Kate. The Christmas ornaments that I make every year, and I have picked out what pattern I'm going to make. And a piece called Camping Trip by Country Cottage Needleworks. So all of those I feel are small enough that honestly I should be able to get them done in a week or two max. I mean, Sweater Weather, obviously I'm not going to get done in a week, but Sweater Weather is on my WIP Go board 3 times with the intent of getting a third of it done each time, and I actually already went through the pattern and determined which, I divided it up how I was going to do it. So I am optimistic that I can be successful in these plans. I feel like there was something else that I was going to share in the cross stitch section, but now I can't remember what. We'll move on to knitting. As you know, I've been working on this dress that I would like to give to my granddaughter. I believe that, let's do this. I believe that this stitch marker here, really, is where I was last time. that's the case, I've made good progress. I'm pretty sure this is still turning out way too big for a 12-month-old. Probably way too big for a two-year-old. This may end up being a dress she can wear when she's like 5. I don't know. Maybe the skirt is just really big. Maybe I'll just have to buy her a really big doll and the doll can wear the dress. I don't know. I do like the way it's turning out though. Like, I like the fabric, the color, the way the color is coming out. And I think it looks nice. I'm just pretty sure that I'm not doing the whole size thing correctly. It is what it is. I have also been trying to think about plans for my knitting for the coming year. I do find that I do better in life in general if I do think about things in advance and plan through. I have never been a live by the seat of your pants kind of girl. I don't function well that way. So I am trying to think through these things a little bit more and be a little more intentional in hopes that that will help me meet my goals a little faster or without so much stress. Not that I really have a lot of stress over it, but you know what I mean. So my goal for knitting is to finish that dress. And then if you've been along with me for a while, you may remember that at one point I purchased a book that was a bunch of animals that you could knit. And you may remember that I started an animal. His name was George the dog. George the dog's pieces and parts are all made. His arms are made, his legs are made, his body is made, his head is made, his tail is made. I'm at the point where I just need to stuff him, sew him up, and then sew all the pieces together. And then George the dog would actually be a dog. So that is going to be my next knitting thing that I'm going to do. After this dress is finished, I am going to finish up George the dog. Then after that, I may consider trying the dress again because, as you may remember, the original plan was to make the dress first for my great niece, and I did get one 3/4 of the way done, but it had too many errors in it. I may go back and try to do that. And then after that, I do want to start a scrappy blanket. I have too much yarn, and I have a lot of yarn that is left over, and I need to use it up. I will probably, if I do start the dress for my great niece, I will probably start the scrappy blanket at the same time, because I think the scrappy blanket is going to be something that I work on only here at home. I can imagine that getting way too bulky and unwieldy to take out and about. I do a lot of my knitting in the car when I'm riding, so I think I will probably end up with 2 projects. A smaller one that can that can be taken with me when I'm in the car, and then the blanket would stay at home. I don't have anything to show in terms of quilting. I am imagining that the long armor will be calling me in the next week or 2 to say that the 2 tops I took her in late November, early December are done and ready to be picked up. So when those come back, I will be getting the binding on them. The binding itself is all made and over there, just waiting. I have picked out the quilt that I'm going to work on. I have it, it's, no it's not. I don't know where I put it. It's in a box. It's called This Way, That Way. And I started it a while ago and then it got put aside for other things. I'm pulling that back out. I want to try to get that finished. I also have an advent calendar, a Grinch themed advent calendar that I started a year ago. And I thought I would have it finished for this year for Christmas, and it didn't get finished. So I would like to finish that. Those are the two major things that I kind of have planned right now for that. I feel like there was something else in that category too, but no, I can't remember. So that takes us to paper crafting. If you watched my last video, you will may remember that I said I had failed miserably at paper crafting in 2025, and that my WIP board basically most of it wasn't done. And that I had decided I was going to work at making all the cards I needed for 2026 over the course of December, so that everything on my WIP board that I would be making in 2026 would actually be for 2027. Well, I kind of failed at that too. And I felt really bad because I hadn't made a single card. And that was yesterday. I thought, okay, I have to make at least some before I film the video, because I feel too guilty about the fact that I said I was going to do this and I didn't even do a single one. But then when I got started, I kind of went all out, and I ended up spending basically the whole day working on cards. And I did not get all of 2026 cards made, but I have probably half of the year made, if not a little bit more. And so I'm feeling better. I think that I will try to find another day in the month of January to knock out the rest of the year, and then still do my January WIP Go calls, which were 10 Christmas cards, which actually that should be super easy, and 4 female birthday cards. So anyway, here's what I made yesterday for cards. And these are mostly earmarked for this year's birthdays. I made these two. They're very similar. You know what? I'm going to stop and change my battery. It's flashing at me. After this card, I will stop. This one, the only difference is this one has the little eyelets on it, and this one does not. I'm laughing a bit at myself because I was just kind of giving Kate over at Kate's Crafting Corner a hard time about her battery situation. She's been doing Vlogmas, Flossmas, and now she's doing the 12 Days of Christmas. But it's almost like every video she's like, my battery's about to run out. I hope I can get this done. And I was telling her that every time she says that, I have a mini heart attack, because I know she's filming on her phone, and I don't know how people can let their phones get that low. Like, I can't. If mine starts getting like 20% even, I'm like, gotta plug it in. Can't have it be getting low. So then here I go running out of battery. But I'm filming on an actual camera, so that's my defense. Anyway, let's get back to the cards. I made 2 of this one, but one of them is in an envelope headed out to the mailbox. Probably for my brother. I have a lot of birthdays right in the beginning of January. Like my nephew, my brother, my brother-in-law. Seems like someone else. I can't remember who else. I made this one. This is the other one that I made another one very similar to this. It was slightly different. It had some wire wrapped around here instead of the buttons. But that one also is going out in the mail this weekend. This is just a random card I made. This one doesn't count for anything. It says, you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think. And this center panel was part of a, I don't know, a kit of some kind, and I just kind of threw it on here. A nice encouraging card should I need to send somebody some encouragement. This one also, the center panel was again part of that same kit. Again, it will just be a card I can send out if I need to send someone an encouraging card. Shine like the sun. These two are more birthday cards for this year. They're very similar. The ribbon detail is a little different, is all. I struggle with it. I can never get the ribbons to lay right. Even that ribbon is all funky. I don't know why. A couple birthday cards. Here's these are these two. Also, they're exactly the same. The center panel again was part of that same kit. I will probably add something more to this card. It looks a little blah to me. I need some bling, or I need something across here and down here. But if I had to, I could send it out with just a little note inside. These two are made with the same paper palette and the same layout. This one has the pearl beads there. This next one does not. And I changed, like this one goes this way and this one goes this way. Like one's landscape, one is portrait. Really like that one. I love those colors. Very pretty. I made two of these, exactly the same. And I made two of these. They're almost exactly the same. Again, I think that this will be getting something. Needs some bling. I don't know, maybe something in the corner or in here. I don't know. I have to think on this one some more. Again, it probably could go out exactly as it is, but I will probably add a little bit to that. So I feel a little bit better. I'm not where I want it to be, but I at least have cards for the first half of the year. I think that wraps up my crafting stuff. I hope everyone had a good Christmas. I had a great Christmas. My kids got me a puzzle for Christmas. Sorry. This is the picture. It was actually on my wish list, so it was something I wanted. And I have it set up over here on my workbench. I actually put it on, we call it the puzzle board. It's just a big old piece of plywood that we would pull out when we want to do a puzzle. And I have it on that board, and my thought was that if I did want to, I could lift the board up and put it down on the floor. I even took the time to put the little felt things that you can put on your furniture on the bottom of the board, so I can put it on my hardwood floor and just slide it under my workbench if I want, the whole workbench. But so far I've just been leaving it there. I have the frame probably 3/4 of the way done. I'm missing, I have to find the last few pieces to get the frame all put together, and I haven't done the top because the top is all just that solid blue, teal, whatever that color is. I have several chunks of that put together, but I haven't figured out how the chunks all go together, and I know I'm missing a few pieces there. I just haven't found them yet. I don't think they're missing. I just haven't found them. So I've been working on that. Took Christmas down on Monday, I think. I kind of wanted it up for a little bit longer, but I kind of needed my house back. So I got that all taken down, and I purchased a new desk thing for my stitchy area. I will actually insert a picture here of my stitchy spot as it is now. The desk is supposed to be, you can raise it or lower it. I actually had to modify it because it did not go as low as I have it. And so I had to use pipe cutters and cut the pipes so that it would drop down further. The picture on Amazon clearly showed people sitting on a couch and in a lazy boy writing on it like a desk. But at the height that it sat, neither my love seat or the chair that are upstairs, I mean, I could, but it would have been really awkward. Like my arm would have been really high. So like I said, I modified it so now it's lower, and it's nice because it's on wheels, so it can sit next to my chair like a side table, but then I can pull it in front of my chair if I want to write something, which I am going to try this year to do better about journaling. I don't believe that my life is interesting enough that anyone ever will want to read my journal in the future. Honestly, the main reason I want to journal is to practice my handwriting, because I have noticed that it's gotten consistently worse over the last few years because we don't write as much as we used to. We type everything. So I mean, it's just going to be ramblings. I don't think my journal is going to ever be anything anybody cares about, but I am going to try to do better about writing in that this year. And so I wanted something that I could do that out there, because I do have a desk here in my craft room, but my laptop's on it and I have a second monitor. I don't really have a lot of space to write more than like a check. And I noticed that when I was sitting in the lazy boy writing, because I was leaned back and it just was awkward. And so my handwriting wasn't that great, partly because of the way I was sitting. So I think I'm gonna really like that. And then while I was rearranging things, so let me back up a second. When I put the tree up, I had to move. We currently have our love seat in front of the big picture window. So when the tree goes up, I need to move the love seat. In order to put the love seat where I needed to put the love seat, I had to move my stitchy chair. So that was partly why I wanted to put Christmas away, because I wanted my stitchy chair back where it belonged, because where it was sitting, I was like not comfortable and stuff was not like easily accessible. I did play around though, and I already have figured out how I'm going to do things differently next year so that my stitchy chair doesn't have to move, just the love seat is going to move. Gotta have priorities, right? Anyway, I think we should talk books. I had set a reading goal on Goodreads to read 75 books last year, and I managed to read 79. I could have, if I had been more on the ball, I could have had 80, because I have like 2.5 hours left on the audiobook that I was reading. And if I would have just stuck in my AirPods and listened to that while I was working on this spreadsheet, I could have had that one done. But I wasn't thinking that far ahead. So 79. I'm still very pleased with that. I think that's pretty good. So let's go over what I've read in the last couple of months that people might be interested in. I read Snowed In by Ashley Clark. This was a book I found on Kindle Unlimited. I have read other things by Ashley Clark in the past. I gave this a 3-star rating. It was very much a Hallmark movie, maybe even cheesier. I read a book called Christmas Mail Order Brides. It was 3 short stories by Carrie Turansky, Vicki McDonough, and Susan Page Davis. And I gave that one a 4-star. I think that was actually probably a 3.5, but I rounded it up to 4 on Goodreads. I think that was also a Kindle Unlimited. I read Christmas in the Castle Library, which was the first book in that series by Anne Swindell. I read that one because I am in a group on Instagram. I think it's Faith and Fables podcast. And she does a book group every month on Instagram. The nice thing is if you want to read the book, you just say, yes, add me to the chat, and you get added to the chat for that book. So if you're not interested in the book that month, you don't have to get added, and then you don't have to see all the stuff coming through. I actually thought that it was also a very Hallmarky book, but I thought it was a cute book and I liked it, and I had ended up buying that one for some reason, and it's the first book in a series, and I bought the second one at the same time. I listened to a book called Miss Bennet, Christmas at Pemberley by Lauren Gunderson. It's an Audible original. It was 2 stars. It was kind of weird. Christmas with Anne and Other Stories by L.M. Montgomery. Gave that a 5-star. I am a big L.M. Montgomery fan. I love Anne of Green Gables. And it was just a nice feel-good read. I listened to Through Each Tomorrow, which is the 6th book in the Timeless series by Gabrielle Meyer. I did give it 5 stars. I did enjoy it. I purchased this one on Audible, and I almost wish I hadn't, because I did not like the male narrator. It had 2 narrators because there were 2 main characters, a female main character and a male main character, and I did not like the male main character narrator at all. He was horrible. And I thankfully am not the only one. I've seen lots of comments online about other people who didn't care for him. I finished a couple of devotional books. I read A Very English Christmas by Carrie Turansky. That was also that one was also 3 short stories. Carrie Turansky, Carol Lair Johnson, and Marguerite Martin Gray. They were those were all set in like 1890s, late 1880s England, and like Charles Dickens was one of the like side characters in one, and Beatrix Potter was a side character in one, and what was the other one? Jane Austen was a side character in the other one. So I mean, they were all like, they weren't main characters, but they were people that the characters met or talked to or whatever. I can't remember if I read or listened to The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. Gave that 4 stars. I read Mr. Gardner and the Governess, which was on my 25 for 25, which I also did not complete. I don't remember now how many I got. I gave that one 4 stars. I listened to The Atlas of Untold Stories. The Atlas of Untold Stories by Sarah Brunswald. I gave that 5 stars. I think I've given everything I've read by Sarah Brunswald 5 stars. Another one that was really good that I think I probably haven't talked about since I talked to you last was The Rhythm of Fractured Grace by Amanda Wen. I gave that one 5 stars. I think that was the 3rd book in that series. And then I read The Work of Art by Mimi Matthews. That was the 1st book in that series. I gave that 4 stars. And then there's another Ellen Montgomery that was short stories. I gave that one 3 stars. After a while, they did start to sound like all the same story, but so anyway, I was pleased with the amount of reading I was able to get done last year. I am not doing a 26 and 26. What I have decided this year, I am going to set, I have not done it yet, I am going to set my reading goal at 75 again. That seems to be a nice number. Also, I have this. I had something similar last year, but this is this year's. This comes from, I believe her name is Jansen Bradshaw, and she has her own Instagram, and then she also does one called Everyday Reading, I think. And she does one of these every year and gives it away for free. You can download it. So I downloaded it in here, and I just color in a book every time I finish one. I really like this one because it has like a library card. This one actually looks really fun to color. Last year's, can I find last year's easily in my planner? Yes, right here. Last year's was cute too. That's last year's. She also does a Christmas one, and I did do it this year at Christmas. Oh, my laundry's done. My watch is telling me to go change the laundry. She puts one out at Christmas too, like an Advent. But this year's Christmas one to me was too detailed. If I was doing it on paper with colored pencils or crayons, it would have been different. But on the iPad, it's kind of hard. I mean, I did some of it. But anyway, so I will be doing the book Advent again. Gotta get myself back here. I will be filling that out, and then instead of doing 25 and 20 or 25 and 25, 26 and 26, I basically made another WIP go board, and this time I did again put actual books on that I want to read like I did last year, but this year I tried to make a point to put some things on here that I know are going to be read for some book clubs I'm in. I also got smart this year, and you'll notice that every book has beside it a little icon. So like that book has a Hoopla icon next to it, that one has a Kindle icon next to it, that one has a Chirp icon next to it. That is where I either own or can find the book, because that is one of my biggest struggles. Is I'm like, oh, I should pick something off this book, and then I'm like, well, where can I get it? Where can I get it? Where can I get it as an ebook? Can I? And now I don't have to. I've already done all the work. I know where I can find it. And so I should be able to easily just go there and get the book. And if it says Kindle, like I already have it. Except for one, I think. One of them is a Kindle Unlimited. And yep, but actually it's in my Kindle Unlimited library already. Mrs. Endick has this one up, and this one right here is a Kindle Unlimited. So I have, you probably can't see it, but I have the letters KU under there so that I know it's Kindle Unlimited. Oh, there's another one that's Kindle Unlimited. So that was actually what I did on the drive down on Christmas Day, was I was getting all that done. So I will be doing that for my reading. I also am doing this again this year. This is books to watch for, and basically when I hear about a book that's supposed to be being released, I try to put the title in the month it's going to be released so that I can remember that it's coming out. So again, my overall reading goal will be 75 books. I would still like to read 2 classics again this year, and I have 3 written down to consider. I would like to read 4 nonfiction again this year, and I have 2 series that I was supposed to finish last year that I did not finish, and I would like to try to finish them. So, never a dull moment. I don't understand people who say I'm bored. That is just not part of my vocabulary. I am not ever bored. I have more things to do that I want to do than I ever have time for. But that's a good thing, right? So, anyway, this has gone on long enough, and I need to call my mom and chat with her because it's Friday. And then I need to stitch and craft. Oh, and it's payday, so I gotta pay bills too. Fun times. I hope that everyone's New Year is off to a great start and that your January is filled with all the crafty time you desire. And until next month, happy crafting!